Hi, I'm N7 Strider with my Batman Eternal issue 10 review. Now, I do apologise that this review is overdue. In fact, it is an entire full week overdue. I'm recording this on the day that Batman Eternal issue number 11 is released. Unfortunately, there was a mishap with the delivery and the new Batman Eternal didn't arrive today, so I have yet to read it myself, and I'm actually quite eager to do so. It was only a matter of time before there was an issue with which I was less than happy with. As you can see from the front cover here, Batman himself looks kind of weird with his face contorted in like what is supposed to be anger, but it does it looks strange. Also, Catwoman has been going to the Kim Kardashian School of Beauty because she's now got a completely fat ass. I have no idea why her ass is that size. It's almost twice the size of her chest, but I guess it's meant to be a perspective thing. Other than that, I guess if you were to see this on this shelf, it would be quite eye-catching, but on closer inspection, it's not all that good a cover. As I am a week overdue with this review, I have heard, although not viewed, any reviews of Batman Eternal number 10, and reviews seem to have been pretty positive for it. That's about to change. The art in this book is quite bad, if I'm perfectly honest. It would have been serviceable if it didn't things like, for the first half of the book, Catwoman has blue skin. I had no idea that Catwoman was related to Papa Smurf. Also, for one panel, Falcone's skin also turns blue for the one panel. Batman, Bruce Wayne, when he's not wearing the cowl, seems to go around with squinty eyes for the entire frigging time, for which I have no idea why. Is he suffering from, I don't know, like a migraine or something? He's just got squinty eyes the entire time throughout the thing, and it looks weird. Also, the guest starring Bat Family member this week, who I won't spoil for you at this point, turns up and looks damn ugly. Just obviously the artist behind this issue didn't like this character, so gave him a big ears, big nose, and made him look kind of stupid. But I guess that could be a reflection on this character's own comic book series, but I'm not going to get into that right now. What's the story like? The story is essentially stuff they couldn't fit into the last issue. When the action does kick off, I will say in the second act, it's mercifully handled fairly quickly. There's a couple of interesting character designs in here, but beyond that, there's nothing really to write home about. I found the story just very awkwardly paced. It's a lot of stuff that happens in the first half, where it constantly cuts from one scene to another, which I've wrote down to the best of my ability when taking notes for the said thing, because it just jumps all over the place. And then when the action kicks off for the second half, it's just very big panels, and it just rattles along, just like, let's get this action out of the way and let's just tie this story up. It's almost like the writer lost interest halfway through and just everyone kicks ass. As it is, this has been the weakest Batman Eternal issue. Thoroughly disappointing. It's all stuff that could have been handled in the last issue. It's just like, it's kind of like they ran out of space in the last issue, so they decided just to release like a little filler issue, which was disappointing, to be honest. So I don't know where these positive reviews of this issue have been coming from. I found the entire thing disappointing, very, very disappointing. I didn't like the art. I didn't like the story, although there is a concept brought in it, as there's a lot of animal themed stuff, you know, like Batman, Catwoman, Professor Pig, his henchman, who I won't spoil, but it's just like there's a lot of animal themed stuff shown in this issue, and that was actually a little bit interesting. But beyond that, it's nothing to write home about. There's nothing in here of any particular worth. In fact, this is one of the few issues where I just read it and I got to the end, I thought, well, we kind of knew all this stuff. Towards the end though, there was something that happened that I've been talking about since issue 2 or 3, I believe. So if that came as a surprise to any of you out there who've actually read this, then shame on you, because I've said that was going to happen. So there was no real anything at the end of the issue to hook me into the next, although it does mention what's happening in the next issue, and I guess we'll just see where things go from there. So weak, very, very weak. I would just say it's an average issue. It doesn't add anything. It doesn't really tell a decent story. Its pacing's weird. The art style is weird. It's bad. It doesn't even give a perspective of where this is happening in the world. It's just like, normally it says like Gotham, Falcone's apartment, you know, Bruce Manor. It doesn't even do that in the panels outside Falcone's apartment. These are all things that that are happening in the world, but it just disregards that, and it's just like, we're not going to tell you where this is happening. You have to figure it out from the artwork, and the artwork is just not very much to write home about. It's very uninspired. Unfortunately, I have seen this artist before, and I know that he's better than this. So I'm just going to double check. I think it was the guy who handled the Batgirl issue that I didn't like the artwork of either. Riccardo Berchielli, probably butchering that. I think he handled the issue 3 of Batman Eternal, and I just thought it's not to my taste. And I found that the people's skin changing colour, and one character depicted as ugly, Bruce always squinting, it looks terrible. It looks really bad. I can only hope that next issue it picks up. I've seen the cover of the next issue, I've not seen anything inside, and it looks promising. So now we're going to the spoiler section. Click away if you don't want to know. But we sort of open up with a flashback to Falcone receiving his scars at the claws of Catwoman. She's stealing from him. There's some sort of like banter about, did Penguin send you? Like, no, I don't answer to him. I will admit that opening panel is a full page and is actually kind of nice, but the artwork quickly deteriorates from there. I mean, we'll see if we go to the just 2 pages over, in fact 1 page over, and we're shown Batwoman for her first time with, I don't know if that's blue skin, and then as we move just another couple of pages, there's Falcone with blue skin. As we can see in the previous panel, he was pink, and Catwoman is blue and a lighter shade of blue there. I don't know, I'll just quickly find Bruce just so I can show you that he's constantly squinting throughout the issue. I have no idea. Just there's Bruce on that side. There's Bruce squinting, and he does that throughout the entire issue, so disappointing. I would just say overall the issue's average. Just stuff they couldn't fit into the last issue is the story. Doesn't really progress anything from what we already knew. Disappointing artwork overall. So yeah, we do get a flashback of Catwoman giving Falcone his scars as she was stealing a cat statue from him at the time. And it's just like something, a little something to remember me by, and it cuts to present day fairly quickly, and Falcone is discussing with his captured Catwoman, who he captured at the end of last issue, that he keeps Gotham sane, you know, to save it from the freaks and the people in capes, and you know, essentially one of the themes with Batman is all of the villains seem to have been because Batman created them himself. As he's screaming at Catwoman, you know, because he's very angry about the scars he's been given. He does says like, I was told Batman would be weak, and Catwoman was just like, what do you mean told? We cut to Professor Pig, who has assembled a team to march on Falcone's hideout, his apartment. This consists of a goat lady, and by goat lady I mean he's removed the head and put a goat's head on top of a woman's body. So there's a goat lady, a bull man, a horse man, and a rooster man. I would have said cockerel or cock has been replaced with his head, and you can make your own cockhead jokes from there on out. And so he's marching on Falcone's hideout, and he still knows that Falcone was responsible, screwed him over, bombed his factory, and he's out for revenge against him. So he also, in his deluded mind, he thinks that Falcone would make a good Falcon Man. He intends to replace Falcone's head with that of a falcon. Over at Wayne Manor, Bruce and Alfred are discussing their new house guest, who is Julia Pennyworth, and she makes it clear that she's not speaking to her father, I guess, because this is something the issue doesn't really go into, is that she doesn't speak to him, and they don't discuss Alfred and Julia's relationship as father and daughter. There's nothing added about it, and it's one of the things that really irked me. Yeah, just that there is nothing done with it. It's just she ignores him. Julie is unaware of Bruce's alter ego as Batman. It seems that she just thinks Batman is, has Bruce as an ally. She seems to be unaware that Bruce is Batman, but she's making it clear that she doesn't want to stay at the Wayne Manor, and she's like, you can thank Batman, but I'm going. Bruce insists that she stays. She was run through with a samurai sword, for Christ's sake. So it's just like, you can't go. Alfred, he's had extensive military combat, medic training, and he says like, you can't leave. You're in critical condition. So she agrees to stay reluctantly. When Batman leaves the room, he's greeted by Jason Todd, who Batman asks to go to South America and tail Batgirl and make sure she doesn't get herself killed. If you remember back in issue 3, Batgirl was presumably, it presumed that a guy who was present at the subway crash was responsible for the subway crash, and it wasn't Jim Gordon who was responsible himself. So she's just like, I'm going to Brazil to find this guy. So Batman wants Jason Todd to follow Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, because Jason Todd is the unloved child and he gets all the shit jobs. But Bruce will say it's like, you've overcome rage yourself and how to control it, and she's currently like lost the plot. Like, I trust you to go down there. There's also a nice exchange as well where Batman says like, the last time you dropped in on just like this without Alfred letting you in, I had to replace windows and rewire the security system. So it's just like, there was a little nod to just like Jason Todd like is still kind of cool, but Jason Todd is the character that I said was looking ugly, and I just said like, I didn't want to do it as a spoiler during the review. Let's just see if I can find him really quick. He looks ugly. Like, unfortunately he's very small, so it's just like, he looks ugly and weird, like big nose, big ears. It's just like, it's almost like the artist hated him. On the TV, Alfred does say like, I made the misfortune of switching on the TV, and I saw that we have a situation involving a friend. What the news was showing was Catwoman being held captive in Falcone's apartment. There's a helicopter flying overhead, and they can see in through the skylight, and Catwoman is there as a captive. Falcone is a captive as well to Professor Pig and his henchmen, and obviously this has attracted the media's and the GCPD's attention. Outside of Falcone's apartment, the GCPD are getting civilians out to safety, and Vicky Vale is one of the ones among the civilians, and she speaks to Bard. Now, if you remember, I did say I was hoping kind of like these would have a honest relationship, and there was a bit of chemistry when they met. Unfortunately, it does seem to Vicky Vale is going the route I thought she would, and be manipulative bitch, just looking out for her career, and is thinking she can get information from Bard and receive, you know, exclusives. So like she's pumping Bard for info essentially, and really I do hope that Bard gets to pump her at some point, so at least he gets something out of this, because Vicky Vale is now a stone cold bitch in my opinion, or maybe just handled badly by this team, for fuck's sake. So yeah, the GCPD are outside and they're aware of the situation in the apartment, as Batman has also himself been made aware of the situation through the news. We do have a brief scene of Stephanie Brown fucking up her dad's plans. The Clue Master is really pissed off about this, her father, the Clue Master. Although when I looked, there's on the screen, she's put information on the internet about her dad, and I looked closer at the screen and it's talking about the Lorem Ipsum method of printing, which is a way to give, you know, some context to text on a screen which makes it look like printed text, although it is really randomized. Unfortunately, the panel is too big and you can read exactly what the Lorem Ipsum, I think it's called. You can read exactly what Lorem Ipsum is. Simply dummy text of a printing and typesetting industry. So I was just like, that's kind of unfortunate that you would do that, because I was reading into it just like thinking, what she published about her father, how can this possibly spoil his plans? No, it's some stock print that they've just thrown in there. So essentially the Clue Master is angry about some stock print that's meant to look like printed words on a screen, but unfortunately it's too big and you can read everything about what it is, and it's the Lorem Ipsum form of printing, which I thought was freaking hilarious. So you know, because this is on the internet, does Batman not have Google? Can't he learn the Clue Master's plans and who's behind all this, since Stephanie Brown has now put that out there on the internet for everyone to read, saying Clue Master is a threat to Gotham? So obviously he doesn't have Google, and you know, if it was just to take a minute to search on the internet, he would probably find this and be a bit wiser as to what's actually going on in Gotham. As it is, he will be reading about the Lorem Ipsum form of printing. Oh well, moving on. Although we do see that Stephanie Brown, when she's putting this information out there on the internet, she's actually in the library, and she crawls into a ventilation shaft in the library and sleeps in there. So she's sleeping rough and she's having a real hard time of it. And it's actually that scene that I actually really like, because it's showing that Stephanie Brown is still alive, still well, but having a real hard time, and it's just like adding more to when she finally becomes spoiler in future issues, which I believe someone told me who you know, is clued upon these things and has seen solicitations and stuff, and he said that he's seen a cover for issue 22 where Stephanie Brown is actually dressed as Spoiler. I don't really count that among spoilers, as in spoilers, you know, I don't mind seeing cover art, so it's just like we have some sort of time frame for how long until we see Stephanie Brown as Spoiler, so it's just like it's a good 12 issues away. That's 3 months away, yeah. So yeah, we got some time. Batman stops Pig from turning Falcone into a Falcon Man, and saves Catwoman before escaping from the building, because he's aware that the SWAT team is going to be in any second now. But in reality, Lieutenant Bard was outside actually holding the SWAT team back, despite being told over the radio from Commissioner Forbes that you know, every second is a second too late. You need to get in there and you need to stop what's going on, because of course Commissioner Forbes is in Falcone's pocket and he doesn't want Falcone dying, because he would be held responsible. So you know, at the end of the day, I guess Professor Pig is apprehended this time instead of the dummy time that he was apprehended and turned back out, for reasons that are still baffling to me, because all he did in that time was detonate a bomb which failed to kill anyone in a automobile showroom, and then assaulted Falcone. I guess there's going to be some sort of fallout when Falcone finds out that Professor Pig could have been taken into police custody by Forbes, but Forbes just turned him back onto the street because we don't work with capes. Batman, at the end of the comic, drops Catwoman onto a nearby rooftop, and Catwoman discusses that Falcone let slip that there was someone else. He was told that Batman would be weak at this point. And it's just like, obviously Batman, Falcone is an enemy, but not the enemy behind it. And we see yet again one of my lovely things that keeps happening in every issue of Batman Eternal, where this mysterious shadowy figure is the mysterious man is in a shadow. He's always in a shadow, but I guess they don't want to reveal it. It stops putting him in shadows. It's starting to look really cheap, and it's just starting to irritate me and become a bit of a joke. So that's my review for Batman Eternal number 10. Weak overall, just I would just say it's average out of general comic book terms, but it's definitely the weakest out of the 10 issues we have so far of Batman Eternal. I would still recommend picking this up if you are reading Batman Eternal, just to continue with the story arc and just to keep up to date on what is going on. But it's literally, it does feel like the story is stuff that they couldn't quite fit into the last issue, and I find the art very tiresome, with mistakes made and some things that I found irritating, such as Bruce Wayne's squinty eyes, Jason Todd looking ugly, and people turning blue all over the place. Hopefully big things for the next issue, where we will be seeing Batgirl in Brazil. Luckily it coincides with the World Cup quite well, so that was like pretty good planning by DC there. But if we see Batgirl kicking around a soccer ball, I'm going to throw a hissy fit. I've been N7 Strider, and I should go.